I remember they were. I bet you guys do too. It was about what was it? About 5 years ago, maybe, where the CDC, this Center for Disease and Control, they were saying that, or was it the World Health Organization? I think it was the World Health Organization. They were saying that they think there's going to be an epidemic, a epidemic, pandemic, I think they call it, and they just weren't sure. And it makes you wonder, yeah, is this all planned? Do you know what I mean? Is this all planned to thin out the human population? Look at where it's happening in Africa, poor countries, yeah, black people. You know how Western society favors whiter skinned people, so it you know so whatever, like say like in the wars, yeah, like America, when during World War I, World War II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, military always sends the ethnic people in first, yeah, so that way, because they know people are going to die, so send in the colored people, and that way no white people die. That's the thinking. That's not a lie. That's really true. And that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so something like that. I mean, what if, because the world's population is really getting big, is there really going to be enough food to feed everybody? Is there going to be enough water for everybody to drink? Especially when it's being poisoned now with oil companies and such. So what if you just thin out the herd? Take out what, the people who can do this would naturally be a Western society, not Western, a dualistic, powerfully dualistic group in Western society that could influence something like that and just spread it. Because remember, America's done this before. They've done it to Indians in the 1700s. They've handed out smallpox infected blankets to some Indians in the East Coast, wiping out entire tribes. Yeah, it was winter time, and the Indians were going through a difficult time because you have French on one side and British on the other side. There's no United States yet. What's in North America are these 13 British colonies. They have not declared independence yet to become America. And so you have French working with certain Indian tribes and British people working with other Indian tribes, and trying to defeat each other. And when it all came down to it, the French and the British didn't give a shit about any Indians. They broke their deals with the Indians, and that divided Indian nations that are still not together today because of this. But they used the Indians to be the front lines, both sides. Yeah, the French and the British. They both used Indians on the front. That way, the first shots that are fired, it's Indians who are going to die, and not white people. Yeah, and then see, I told you this is a military thing. Yeah, and then once America has declared independence, now they want to clear Indians out of the area so they can take their land. So, the Indians were going through a hard time. As I said, you have British people on one side and no, not British, American people on one side, because now they're, Americans, and then you have French people on the other side. So, how do we get rid of the Indians and take their land? It has many, many trees and other things for resources. How did they do that? So somebody came up with the idea, let's give them smallpox infected blankets. It's winter time. They're starving. They're have no place to go. Their homes aren't really holding up anymore. So Let's give them these blankets as a gesture of goodwill. And the Indians didn't know that those blankets were infested with smallpox. And then in time, entire tribes started vanishing. Yeah, they're dead. They all died. Just think of that. Languages died because of this. Now I think about this Ebola thing and I wonder, is it the same concept? Yeah, I kind of think it is, because look at where it started. In the poor area where nobody will be missed. What the UN was having a meeting on this, and they were saying that so far, as of today, 9,000 people contracted it in these 3 countries, and half of those people died. Now there's health workers are being infected, so it's like getting stronger. Yeah, it's learning to protect itself. But who put it there in the first place? See, that's what I always think, is that because of what America did to Indians, I think somebody, if not America, another country is doing the same thing concerning with Africa. That's not good. Be careful. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, is be careful. If you have to fly someplace, get yourself checked out first, yeah, to make sure you don't have anything. And when you land, do it again, because you never know, because you're sitting in an airplane or a flight, it's just circulating the air that's already in there, which means it could be spreading the Ebola. I mean, they're saying it's not transmittable through the air, but what if they're not telling the truth? Because since when do governments tell the truth? Since when do governments tell the complete story? So there might be something happening concerning that. Yeah, that's not a natural outbreak. That it might be man-made. Yeah, because like I said, America did this to Indians before. Kill them all, then the land is up for grabs. Luckily, it didn't kill everybody. Yeah. So there's people like me who can talk about it and say, makes you wonder. Yeah, it really, really makes you wonder. So anyway, I'm not trying to say this is the way it is, but it sure sounds like it. Yeah, that they're expecting something. Like I said, the World Health Organization was saying several years ago that history usually repeats itself, and so it's about time that there's a pandemic. And I do think it's possible. I'm not saying that it happened, but I do think it's possible that this is man-made, that man introduced this to thin out the human population. And since Africa is in the Western world, Africa is seen as, poor, impoverished nations, that maybe that whoever spread this, that's what they want. Yeah, and get it all over the world so that take out as many humans as possible. What if this is a chemical warfare that's disguised as a shovel? All that time, the person is using that shovel to to bury the person who died. See the irony?